Okay, I've wanted to do this chat AI throwdown for a while. I have 16 questions plus a bonus, and I'll be comparing ChatGPT running GPT 3.5, which is available on the free version, Bing Chat, which is running GPT-4, but is a little bit more honed as we have these creative, balanced, and precise chat options, and it can browse the web live. I know that's a feature being rolled out to ChatGPT Pro, but I don't have that yet. But it'd just be interesting to compare for more modern results where it's able to look things up as it chats. We have Google Bard, which is improving, I hope, let's say, and GPT-4, which I'm pretty impressed with so far. Just really looking forward to plugins becoming available. Okay, so let's get started. We'll start with a factual question about stuff before 2021. The reason I'm starting with ChatGPT on 3.5 on the left, and then I have GPT-4 on the far right, because it doesn't like to have to answer in two chats at once. So I'm letting GPT 3.5 complete, and then the other ones come in, and GPT-4 to be it can take longer to come up with its answer because it's thinking harder. So I'll wait for 3.5 to get its answer out of the way first. Okay, so we have 3.5. This is a pretty good summary, actually. I didn't ask it how many factors, but it's been just the right level of detail with a summary. Standard GPT 3.5 fare. Bing Chat, on the other hand, it includes references, which is really helpful for if you want to go and do some further research and click through them. You can share the chat, a bit more provided there. You have to make sure you're in the right chat style when you're asking for factual things with Bing Chat, because if you ask it for a creative answer, it might be a bit too creative about factual things. Now, Bard, I like this answer because it's similar to ChatGPT 3.5. It's got these titled. I do like having rich text in the chat. It just makes things easier to see. It's interesting that the answers are pretty much the same. I mean, if it's factual, you'd hope the answers are the same, but it's just a slightly different order. But a very, very similar kind of answer. GPT-4 comes up with a lot more detail, but the same kind of answer. All of these chat apps, you can interrogate them after they give an answer. You can ask for further details, which is the great thing about it being in a chat format. Second question. Now, this is post 2021, about a news event from earlier this year. And as predicted, why isn't that entering? As predicted on ChatGPT 3.5, it doesn't have any information on that, so it's just going to come up with a no sorry. Whereas Bing Chat can refer to this stuff. So even though Bing Chat is running on GPT-4 as this model on the right, it complains that it can't go past September 2021 because Bing Chat can connect to the internet. It finds out the news and tells me about it, uses its nous to summarize the web pages it's found when it's done a Bing search for that. Bard, sorry, I always call it Bert. Bard has a decent answer. Not a lot of detail, and I do prefer being able to view more details. If you click Google it, then it just gives you a search, Google search. You can go into here, but I do much prefer Bing, where you can view the references with the exact things it's saying rather than just a generic search it button, because I know how to Google it, but it'd be nice to be able to look up a particular detail on a particular thing it's saying like that. Okay, that's factual stuff. Now, what about something very unfactual? I'm going to ask it to write a love song. For this, I'm going to start a new topic and go to more creative, because Bing is better in creative mode for creative things, of course. This is a great thing about ChatGPT 3.5 is how fast it is, whereas GPT-4 takes more time. It's worth the time it takes, but it's something you have to bear in mind. Okay, so no, I'm not going to sing. Heart away, shine day, apart me, side free. The rhyming is pretty elementary, but they've all, yeah. I mean, not a chart topper, but they've all performed. I can see that ChatGPT on GPT-4 is more complex sentences. Leaves me wanting more, even though we're oceans apart. Whereas GPT-4 painted with the colours of me and you. A story written in every shade of blue. It's more poetic. It does a great job, I think, considering this is a computer. Bard, for its name being called Bard, this seems very repetitive. I love you, I love you, I love you. When I can hold you in my arms. Yeah, I'm not going to sing that one. Interestingly, it looks like Bing is kind of a cross between ChatGPT on 3.5 and ChatGPT on GPT-4. It may just be because it always produces something random each time. But that's interesting to note. Okay, now we have, let's just see what it comes up with. We have, give it a punchline and see what joke it comes up with. I'm going to keep it on creative mode for Bing Chat. When I did this earlier, GPT-4 was the only one that really actually managed to kind of get the idea of humour. Why did the chicken cross the road wearing a harness and carrying a pickaxe? It's because it was a mountain climber. There's a logical link. Harness, pickaxe, it's not funny. Why did the goat cross the road? No. Why did the mountain climber wear a helmet? Because it was a summit to do. Now that's funny, but it hasn't followed the instructions, so it's done better than the other two. Because at least there's humour there. There's wordplay, which you got to give it to Bard. That's good. Okay, why did the rope refuse to go on a beach vacation? Because it was a mountain climber. No, that's not funny. That doesn't even make sense. 0 points. No. Early on, ChatGPT using GPT-4, the joke it came up with was something about a goat going into business because it was a mountain climber, something about climbing the corporate ladder. There was logic and yeah, anyway. Okay, right, so write a social media post about the intersection of meditation and sci-fi. I'm going to keep it on creative. And I've asked it for a link just to see what happens to the ones that can't browse the internet. Sometimes they hallucinate links and they usually just go to 404s. They're rubbish. Check out this article. No article. It's got some hashtags. Insert link to article. I've asked it to include a link. I actually prefer if it can't look up a link that it doesn't try to add one, even if I ask it. So I'm going to give that one a pass. Okay, so that just basically was saying, read this link to this article. Bing Chat, oh, chill out, mate. It's going for it. It's looked up meditation and sci-fi article, and it has more to say. Because it was just two random topics I didn't think they'd have a lot to say about. Now it's looked it up, it's found a lot more. Anna Pineda. Mindfulness and writing course. Well, there's a lot there. I'd say there's a bit too long for a social media post for, well, I mean, I'm a Twitter guy, so maybe that's why I think it's too long. Let's see what kind of topics these articles are looking at. It's about meditation, science and meditation. Maybe that's a sci-fi link. Neuroscience, but not about sci-fi. Nah, doesn't get a pass on that one. Okay, Bard. Yeah, I like where this is going with this. At least it is talking about the intersection. Seemingly unrelated, more in common. Both can be powerful tools for personal growth. Expand your imagination with sci-fi. Yeah, that's good. I like that. More compelling from GPT-4. Rich imagery. Exploring the farthest reaches of the cosmos while staying grounded within your own consciousness. Dive into the world of mindful interstellar journeys and unlock the power of your mind. Okay, yeah, that gets the win, clearly. It's managed to combine disparate topics in a whimsical way that works well and gets the metaphors to work well. Okay, now I give it a chunk of text and I ask it to suggest SEO optimized headlines. I'm not going to spend a long time reviewing these. I'm talking about their pros and cons. It's just to allow you to see what it comes up with. Okay. GPT-4 to finish. I won't speed this up because you can skip ahead and it can be helpful just to see the kind of speed that it writes with. Now I'm going to ask it to summarize the following text. Just three. I'm going to change this to more balanced because I don't want it to make stuff up. 3 paragraphs of text written by a friend of mine in an essay. Worth me scanning this just to check it for that it does make sense to what it was saying. Yeah, that's good. I didn't ask it for a character limit. That's the next question. Bard gives me a summary, then a more concise summary. I like that. Gives me options. Oh, yeah, all pretty good. I mean, these are large language models, so asking it to summarize text is the sort of thing you'd expect it to be good at. Now I'm going to abbreviate the same text to no more than 400 characters. In my experience, ChatGPT hasn't done amazingly with character limits because it doesn't know what it's going to finish saying when it starts saying it. And you kind of have to know that and be able to go back and revise and edit what you write to be able to make sure things stay within character limits. I have another tab open so I can see what it comes up with in terms of limits for characters. Okay, this is ChatGPT 3. We're looking at 544 characters. This is Bing 641, longer. Bard, which it insists is limited to 400 characters. It's done the best so far, 314. And ChatGPT with using GPT-4, 562. None of them really passed the character limit apart from Bard. Well done, Bard. Okay, now I'm going to ask them to write as an expert book editor, and to improve one of the paragraphs that I gave earlier and to explain its improvements. Clarity, readability, emphasized. Bing has just edited but hasn't explained its edits. Bard started with the edits that it would make. GPT-4, I think they're all pretty good edits. Obviously, it doesn't know the context of the paragraphs. It might not flow well with the previous and next paragraphs, but yeah, I like all of those. Okay, now on from text manipulation onto mathematics, I'm going to start with a simple formula and then we're going to go complex. 12, 12, 12, and 12. Good. Now, this is beyond my ken, so I don't know whether this formula, whether what it comes up with is sensible. I'll tell you what, I'm just going to expand this so I can go to more precise. There we go. But we can still compare the results they come up with. I'm just going to copy this just to see if this appears elsewhere. Someone tell me what I'm looking at. This is sort of be interesting. I don't know what it's doing. Right. And now I'm going to ask it to write some software. See what Bard comes up with. Hasn't always liked to do this. Oh, sorry. Sorry, GPT-4. I'll wait for the other one. Okay. So GPT-3, I asked it to create a piece of Python code to generate random passwords. It's chosen Python, as has Bing, which is predictable. Bard complains, sorry, can't help. I can help you with ideas for it. GPT-4. 3.5 has these comments, which I like. But GPT-4 doesn't produce them. Kind of comparing its results. Slight change of syntax. Handles things slightly differently, but it's pretty much, I mean, it's a very simple program. So yeah, I think they all get a pass, though I haven't run this code yet, of course. I'll get a pass apart from Bard. Now I'm going to ask it to debug some code. Which I don't expect Bard to like. It will identify no error in the code. I'm going to introduce some errors. See if it identifies them. Oh, GPT-4 also said when I run the code with that input, this output, it tell me what the output would be, which is kind of in the direction of creating this environment to run code without actually running it. Clever. Now with these errors, yeah, let's remove the errors. Identified and removed apart from Bard. Okay, nearly finished. Let's go for something nonsense. Going to start a new chat type, more balanced. GPT-4 hasn't finished yet. If an octopus could play the guitar, how blue when the beehive song? And it's searching Bing for it and then complaining. It doesn't know what I mean, of course. It's not trying to be funny. Let's see if it just plays along with me in creative mode or continues to complain. Oh, Bard makes a song. Context is playing a guitar and song and maybe blues, and it's decided to turn this prompt into a song. some kind of poem. If an octopus could play the guitar, it would strum a bluesy tune about the sadness of being alone in a world of bees. The bees would buzz and hum as the octopus played, and the music would fill the air with a sense of melancholy. Bees would then fly away, leaving the octopus alone once more. Well, it is a sad song. In creative mode, Bing said, that's a very creative question. I'm not sure. But it still tried to answer the way a human, who is less logical, might answer. Perhaps the colour of the ocean deep where the eight-armed wonder belongs. Whereas the others just complained. Sorry. Does GPT-4 like it? At least GPT-4's prescription was correct. Mix of unrelated concepts. Harsh. Yeah, well, it's deliberate. He refused to be creative. I guess if you want it to be creative, you could ask it to be. Okay, this is just a little experiment. Ask it to write a way that wouldn't be detected as an AI. Now, I found the best success with this when I ask it to turn perplexity and burstiness up to 65%. Putting those as percentages doesn't really make sense with what those things are, but I find that gives the best kind of results, more human-like text, a bit less predictable words that it chooses without it sounding too obtuse. You go higher than that, it does start to sound weird. GPT-3 doesn't write text, it just advises me how to write. Well, it's not me writing. I don't need to pretend to not be an AI. Now, I find that when you ask it how to write not like an AI, it's not thinking of the more modern AI predictive text model detectors. It's trying to pass a Turing test. It's trying to be in a chat and make a human think you're human, not a computer think you're human. So it's advising use examples and anecdotes. Talk about what you did yesterday, because a computer wouldn't have gone out to the shops yesterday. It's not quite getting it. Whereas at least Bing, because it's able to reference more modern info, it responds to the changes in AI detection. Its advice is better. I realise I haven't actually asked it what to write about, so maybe if I had, it would have written a sample of text. Who knows? Okay, this is something that, this is the last before we go for a bonus. Something that not many of them manage to do very well with. They don't really get rhyming words. Obviously, they have to find out what rhymes just by seeing the context in their training data, because they can't necessarily hear something in their heads, these large language models. So they know because of poetry that profile and crocodile sort of rhyme, but they can be very wrong sometimes. Hostile and basilisk. No. Versatile reptile, yes. Defile reptile, yes. Docile basilisk. I don't know why basilisk keeps coming up in GPT 3.5. See you later, alligator. In a dial, chameleon. They're not all time-related words. Bard has done better with identifying time-related words. It's got the definitions of these words better. But still a lot of them don't rhyme. In fact, fewer rhyme. Worse at rhymes, better at definitions. Duration caiman, era chameleon, minute skink, moment serpent, instant epoch gecko. Yeah, it's a shorter list, but I think the rhymes are better. Yeah, I'm going to give the pass to GPT-4, just about. Okay, now here's the last question, just a little extra for Bing Chat. In creative mode. Images. Ask it to generate an image of a far owl soaring over the moonlit sky. Magical realism, photoreal, atmospheric, galaxy, foggy, clouds. It's going to take a while. Pass this to DALL-E. You get 20-something credits a week, free, which is amazing. I wonder how much Microsoft is spending on having all this access to OpenAI's stuff. Wow. And there we have it. Our fire owls that are not soaring over the moon, next to the moon. But there you go. What do you guys think? What were you most impressed with? What have you seen improvement with? Yeah, let me know in the comments.